We can look at the collision map using ig.game.collisionMap, and then we can get tile, and you can pass in parameters to get the tile that you want to look at for its spot. And based on that, you can affect your entity, and I'm using flip, right? So I try to get the tile that is like over and down from the entity, depending on which way it's going, and that's what this math here is at, and all these references. So the tile that it's about to walk on next, right? That's what I'm trying to do here in this line of code. And if I can't get it, if there is no collision map tile on the collision map layer, then I tell the flip on the entity to flip it from true to false, or false to true. Okay. Then I figure out the direction based on the flip. I either use -1 or 1, and then I set the speed as a value, as a property of the entity here to be 50, and I multiply it by that direction. So it's multiplied by 1 or -1. So it's either positive 50 or negative 50, right? So just a brief summary of what's going on here. In order to get an enemy to move back and forth on a platform, on a collision map platform, with no walls to bump into, just going back and forth, we use collision map.getTile, which is a property, it's a method of the impact game. We pass in coordinates for the next tile that the entity would walk onto. And then we go look, and if there is a collision map tile there, then we don't execute the code. That's what the bang, the exclamation point in front of the statement means. Okay, on line 34. If there is not a collision map there, then we execute what's inside this if statement, and we change the flip, right? And changing the flip, we're able to use either a +1 or a -1 to multiply our speed to give us either a negative speed or a positive speed. And that changes the direction of the entity. And that gives us the pat back and forth behavior that we want. Kind of like the red Koopas from Super Mario 1 would pattern back and forth, but the green ones would just fall out, right? So take your brain and flash back to a kid or younger or whenever, you played Super Mario 1 on the Nintendo. And imagine that this code right here wasn't on any of the green Koopas in Super Mario 1, right? They all would just keep walking no matter what, right? But all of the red Koopas that would go back and forth on those platforms had this block of code in them, right? And that's what would give them that ability to do that. So, and I don't know the source of Mario, but I mean, just looking at it and look what we just did here, probably something very similar is what they used to make that happen. So, and here's our dude going back and forth.